So for our first presentation today, I'd like to welcome Scott Gibbens, Head of Product at Technology from Sage, joining us in the early hours of the morning from the UK to talk to you about the Talis Aspire roadmap and the development of products in the Technology from Sage portfolio. I'll stop sharing my screen so that you can share yours, Scott.
Thanks, Isabel. Good morning, everybody. We'll just go into sharing my screen. And hopefully you can all see the slideshow. So what happens next? Talis Aspire roadmap. So can I have a quick look, introduce myself. First of all, my name is Scott Gibbens. Head of product, as Isabel said, for the Talis work streams. I started working for Talis and Technology for Sage, in fact, last October. So I've just been here a few months. My background is a librarian. I've worked at universities, colleges, NHS, universities across the UK, worked for an organisation called GISC. And before coming over to Sage, I was working for a company called Core Text, who also have an ebook reader. So hopefully you can all see this slide. I'm sure people will tell me in the chat if there's any problems. And this session is recorded. So we'll have a quick look at the TfS product overview. And we're going to talk a bit about the focus on Aspire, some of the current developments that we're working on at this moment, the roadmap, and most importantly, how you can be involved in that. You may have seen this yesterday. This is our TfS diagram of the things that go on in the library, the prescribed reading, the guided engagement, the instruction, the open discovery, and the writing, and showing where TfS is involved in those elements. So we have Talis Aspire, we have Talis Elevate, we have Lean Library, and we have SciWheel. The reason for showing this again is, as we go forwards over the next year to 2 years, these elements will become more and more integrated. So if you subscribe to Aspire and Elevate, for example, you would see Elevate nicely integrated into Aspire. And we're already doing some of that work with things like Lean libraries as well. Sometimes these things are in the background, you don't see anything, it's just we're sharing in technology so you get better experience. Sometimes if you subscribe to one or more products, they link in it so you can actually see that working for you. So we do have a new product team in Talis. As myself, as a junior product manager, and we're currently recruiting for additional product manager. The advert goes out in the next couple of days. So we are expanding that team. We're also expanding the Aspire development team. These are the people that actually are there coding away, making sure everything works and you get all the enhancements that people like me in product ask for and ask them to do. Over the last 6 months, we're doing some quick wins, trying to get some of these tickets in this backlog that are quick to do out of the way. Things like back to top buttons. So if you're at the bottom of a list, you don't have to scroll all the way back, it just come back to top, take you back to the top. Some improved reporting features. We've got OER integration coming up and some Lean library integration. So just some of these quick things that are quick to do, get them off the backlog and get some improvements straight to you. We've been having some discussions with our customers over the last few months. We have discovery sessions and we've been inviting people to talk to those. And this is really just to find out that we have a backlog of ideas that people have been putting into the ideas log for a few years now. Some of those have been acted on, some of those haven't. And we're just getting a refresh on those, checking that those are still all relevant, see if people still are looking at those and what people's priorities are. So we are working on a number of items at the moment based on items that have been in the backlog. We're doing something on editing student and library notes. If you use the reviews process, you're able to edit those directly in the reviews process. I'm go out of the reviews into lists, then change the student notes or the library notes, just to make things a bit more straightforward. We got some close integration with discovery platforms coming along. So the Primo, OCLC WorldCat, EBSCO, and Summon are the names we're focusing on. And that means from within Aspire, you're able to search those collections. So at the moment, you've got the Nielsen book data integration. You'll be able to replace that with your discovery tool integration. And from that screen, people have to search the discovery tool within Aspire, add items to their lists, just like you can with the Nielsen book data. But it's, of course, going to be your own data for your own library. We're working on some further improvements with LTI integration and rollover to make that as easy as possible, so that when you do roll over, if you're using LTI 1.3, everything rolls over and you're not in this position where you have to relink items again. And we're looking to set the importance tags that I know people use in the reviews process, so that your library can decide if you want to set those to mandatory. That means if you're using reviews and you're using importance tags to help drive those, people won't be able to publish a list and send it to review without having set importance tags. So it's really just to help you with your workflows. This will take us through till probably April time. And then we have a number of roadmap themes. So we've had a customer suggestions and a suggest ideas log. We have customer suggestions for meetings with people. We have tenders come through where universities are saying this is what we want for our next 3 years. And we also have innovation ideas that we've been thinking of that we put to people and see what they think. And they broadly make up these 9 large themes that we're working on. So self-service is there so that you can actually do things yourself. You're not waiting for customer services to do a change for you. You might just want to see if you can make a quick change, see what something looks like. You could switch on and off the new importance tag mandatory items. So all these things that you, the dates, for example, which I know you have to send through at the moment, all these things that you may ask customer services to do, you'll be able to quickly try them yourself if you want, and have a self-service option. That will also allow you to change some of the styling and look and feel of the site as well. We're doing a couple more sprints on accessibility. Accessibility is pretty good. We submitted recently a tender to Michigan University in America, and they came back, said, these guys seem to know what they're doing on accessibility, which is always nice to hear. And it's just a number of improvements. We've got an accessibility expert in the team in Aspire. He looked through those accessibility suggestions, and most of those are going to go forwards in May. So by the summer, we'll have a few more improvements to accessibility. But we're trying to make sure that we're always on top of the game because we know how important that accessibility is. We're looking at reviews and acquisitions again. Reviews and acquisitions is an interesting one. We have the reviews process, and we're speaking to customers. Some customers love this. Some people have put their entire workflows around it, and some people hate it and they just can't get on with it. So we're going to have a whole discovery on reviews and acquisitions. And that discovery means we're going to be asking customers, do you want to speak to us? And from my point of view, it doesn't matter if you're in Australia, New Zealand, and you want me to get up in the middle of the night, that's absolutely fine. That's what my job is. But we're happy to hear from you what you want. And this is integrating with all the suppliers as well. So looking at integrating with OCLC's ordering system, integrating with Rialto, we've always been to them, integrated with EBSCO's Folio. So if you do want to use reviews acquisitions and you have something to say on that, please let me know. We'll look forward to speaking to you. We're going to be doing that sort of discovery in around about April this year. List editing enhancements. The list editing is actually quite nice. It's quite good, but there's lots of little things that I think people find frustrating. As librarians and myself, I use the list editing every day. I know the quirks, but if you use it once or twice a year, as a lecturer might do, I can see where you might accidentally put section in a section or not put books in a section, how you want to structure it. So just making that a little bit more intuitive. Integration is key. Make sure we just integrate with every system better as well. Integrate with your discovery tools, integrating with the VLEs, integrating on library systems, keeping those integrations up to date. And also integrating with other suppliers so that when you're using EBSCO for your books or you're using ProQuest, you can easily find all the pricing without having to go into another system and saving information. Reports analytics, we're going to be looking again at reports analytics. Reports are, I think, quite comprehensive, but we have a lot of requests for extra fields available, extra reports. And our analytics could do with an update, especially some of the list analytics. So we're going to be looking at that in the whole, and that will also include analytics dashboard for if you're subscribing to other TfS products. So if you are getting Lean Library, if you are getting Cyber Elevate, you get to get all those analytics in one place, so having to go into different places for the analytics. And the idea ultimately is so you can track a student journey through from the reading list through into Elevate and see how they're consuming items as well. Student engagement is important. We've got a few student engagement options, but thinking of something that's been suggested quite a lot is so that students can actually suggest an item to a list. So they might say, why is this item on the list? I'll suggest this to my lecturer. I could see some libraries, some universities wouldn't want that. So that's something you can be able to switch on or off as appropriate. Also thinking about, is there a different way students might want to consume a list? We all consider a list in a straightforward fashion, but a lot of people might be using things like Netflix, where you scroll across the screen now for sections. Is that something students would like to see? Is that an option we can have? So we're going to be doing some discovery with some students that we've got access to in university in the UK to see what they think of some of these ideas and see what they would like to see. Bulk actions. There's a number of bulk actions that you have to be a bit of a wizard on the computer to access. And we're going to try and bring as many of these bulk actions into Aspire admin, so you can actually run these bulk actions without having to know how to access the APIs and how to do that sort of wizardry. And what I've missed out is continuous improvement. Continuous improvement covers everything. Continuous improvement is where someone comes in and says, I'd like to do this. It doesn't fit into one of our themes, but it's something that needs to be done. Or it's something that we're getting lots of issues about, and we just need to do a quick improvement. So continuous improvement is ongoing stuff. It may not be part of a bigger theme, but it's still things that are important, that we recognize are important to you as well. So how do we decide what goes into these themes? Well, as I said, we've got these ideas logs, and we've got all these tenders and other such things. But we are inviting people to sign up to discovery meetings. These calls are so really we can understand exactly what you're looking for. I've worked on reading lists for about 4 years now. I worked on a reading list system while I was before. I can comfortably sit down for a couple of months and write out exactly what I think needs for a reading list system. I might get some of it right, but then you're going to shout at me saying, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I'm here as a conduit to help transform your ideas so developers can actually put them into practice. We're growing our development team, so we'll be able to actually engage these ideas. I know sometimes in the past it may have been ideas tend to sit on a backlog for a while. What we're going to do is, as we get ideas come in, we'll be responding to you, telling you if we're going to do them, if we're not going to do them, if not, why not? If we're going to do them, if it's something that's coming up soon, immediately, or if it's something that's going to come up later. Some of the things we want to do with a system are quite complicated and require quite a lot of work, and some of those require some changes to the back-end code. Those will come later. The things that we can do quickly in a more straightforward way will come first. So we are prioritizing things, not just based on demand, but also on complexity. Usually you will find a lot of the things that people are asking for are actually quite straightforward, and we can get those done. But there are some of the things people are asking for which are quite complex. One of those things that people ask you for, which is quite complex, is people accidentally deleting items from lists. I'd love to say we can fix that straight away, so there'll be that undo option. That's not something we can do straight away, and it is something we're developing. But I'm quite happy being upfront about what we're doing, so you know what you can expect to see. These discovery meetings are really so you can understand what you want to see from the system. So we can explain that to you. When you come up with something, we can ask more details. Got to an email or an idea, you get a sentence, and you're trying to work out what exactly does it mean. These conversations allow you to have a much better understanding. These discovery meetings might include wireframes. They discuss the ways that you work in your library. So with reviews, discovery that we're coming up with, that's going to be really, how do your acquisitions team use reviews? Do they reviews? What do they want to see from it? And ensure what is developed is really meeting your requirements. We're going to be looking at running discovery meetings for reviews and acquisitions team in April, May. And I would encourage you to contact us and say that you want to be involved. If you don't want to be involved, that's fine. But don't stop being in the other side of the world from where I'm based. Stopping you being involved, because we do really want to hear from all our customers. And that's a quick review of what we're doing with product over the next, year to 18 months. I'm happy to take any questions on any of that.